Hey, this is Ciderhelm, and this is an informal guide to Expert Realm of the Fae. Realm of the Fae is one of the more difficult Tier 1 instances and should be attempted by groups that have some basic level 50 gear and an understanding of their classes. As with all these guides, I will inform you of which encounters have DPS timers. If they do not have DPS timers, you can stack additional healers or readjust your party as necessary. While we do kill these bosses quickly, these strategies worked when we were first progressing through these instances and were heavily undergeared. Finally, if you enjoy this guide, please subscribe to the channel. Trickster Melo is the first encounter in Realm of the Fae. For this encounter, you should kill both fairies and then kill Melo. The main thing to watch out for is a very visible damage shield that will be cast on the fairies. If attacked while this shield is up, massive AoE damage will hit the entire party. Watch your pets and your periodic damage and quickly switch off of fairies once they're shielded. Melo has no DPS timer, so stack your party however you need to. Legodon is the second encounter in Realm of the Fae. Legodon is a fairly hard hitter on new tanks and deals some random damage to party members. The main thing to watch out for on this encounter are purple clouds that are placed on the ground. Party members should stay spread out so this cloud affects as few people at a time as possible, and players who are affected by the cloud need to immediately move out. Legodon has no DPS timer. Grand Apiarist Orbin is the third encounter in Realm of the Fae. Throughout the encounter, Orbin will summon small packs of adds from the nectar hives on either side of him. To deal with this, your party should kill each of these hives as soon as possible. Orbin does not engage the group for a few seconds once he's been pulled. However, the moment the encounter begins, the hives will become targetable and damageable, so party members should begin DPS immediately. The tank needs to keep in mind that Orbin cleaves and should position him in such a way that he's unlikely to kill party members. The summoned adds should be picked up by the tank as often as possible, and Orbin should be positioned in a way that makes this relatively easy to do. However, even with little gear, DPS can survive tanking loose adds. Once the first hive is down, kill off all of the current adds, then move as a group to the other hive and begin burning it down. Once the second hive is down and all of the adds are handled, Orbin is a straightforward burn. Orbin has no DPS timer. If you're having serious problems with this encounter, there's no problem with using two tanks. Battlemaster Atrophinius is the fourth encounter in Realm of the Fae. Atrophinius is a very hard hitter and there is party damage, so the encounter can be problematic without at least 2 healers. At the beginning of the encounter, Atrophinius has 2 bards with him. These do not need to be tanked, but DPS on them should be make sure to interrupt Coda of Restoration as often as possible so they go down more quickly. Atrophinius periodically casts an AoE knockback around him and then immediately charges a random player at range. The combination of a knockback and charge can kill undergeared players, so try to keep your distance. Additionally, watch out for any trash packs you haven't cleared. Atrophinius has no DPS timer. Chilblain Winterfrost is the 5th encounter in Realm of the Fae. The Chilblain encounter involves a lot of movement and favors ranged players. This encounter occurs on a glacier and can be more easily seen by turning full screen effects off in your advanced video options. Chilblain has 2 main abilities to watch out for. The first and most important ability is a snowball effect, which will spawn a vortex on top of a player after the debuff expires. Watch your debuffs for a white snowball and pay attention to the timer on it. By the time it reaches 0, you need to be in a location that is out of the way of other players or the tank's path. Once the timer reaches 0 and the vortex is spawned, you need to move away immediately to avoid taking much damage. A large white effect on the ground marks the boundaries of the effect. As a tank, I generally start about where he is standing before you pull him and try to fill up the top of his plateau before snaking my way down towards the pathway. This isn't necessary, but it's very easy to follow. This encounter has no DPS timer. Feylor Twill is the final encounter in Realm of the Fae. This encounter has several phases corresponding to each of the 4 seasons. During the first phase, you will kill a satyr. The main ability to watch out for on this phase is a confuse effect he will randomly cast on players. During the second phase, a fire elemental will spawn. At 50%, this elemental will split into 2 elementals, and when these get low, they will spawn into AoE packs. Burn these down as fast as possible. During the third phase, a large treant will enter the encounter. This is straightforward, though he will occasionally summon adds around him that should be cleaved and AoE down. The timing of each of these phases is static, meaning if you're too slow to kill your opponents on one phase, they will carry over to the next phase. Some overlap is fine, but too much will wipe the party. For this reason, it is recommended that party members burn whatever they need to avoid too much overlap. The 4th and final phase occurs when Feylor Twill enters. During this phase, large swirling vortexes will move across the platform, and players must be extremely careful to avoid them without falling off the edges. To make this more difficult, Twill will also periodically root players, preventing them from moving. Because of this combination, players need to stay focused on the vortexes above all else. When this phase starts, the party needs to prioritize getting to safe positions over engaging the boss immediately. In this video, we make several mistakes that we can survive due to our gear level, but they certainly would have wiped us when this was difficult for us. The other thing to watch out for is a frontal cone called Arc of Frost. This is minor party damage, but it can kill players who have taken damage from the vortexes. Thanks for watching this video. Please subscribe if you've enjoyed it, and feel free to visit us on www.eventideguild.com if you have any questions.